So a couple weeks ago, myself, along with the rest of my colleagues, we did a partner training in Redwood Shores, where we went through an end-to-end flow of integrating really Oracle CXLs, also commerce as well, through CPQ, then CPQ order management, then order management to subscription management. And we also talked about how to create parts, bill of materials configurations, how to set up pricing and things like that. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through that end-to-end process from the end user side. So we'll see how it's supposed to work after everything is set up. And then across time, I'll put out the content, the videos of the steps we took to set everything up from scratch. So everything that we did in the room, I'll show you here and maybe even a little bit more. So here we go. So I'm logging into a Fusion site as a sales rep, as you can see here, because sales reps are going to be the one making the quotes, opportunities, and things like that. So here's what I see when I land in Fusion. There's a bunch of nice things here. But what I really want to be at is in Redwood Sales. And I can either go to my accounts or I can go to my opportunities. I can start really a transaction from any of those two places. Let's go to accounts. And here, of course, naturally, you want to find the account that you're going to be working with. In this case, I know the account I want, which is going to be Redline Hosting. Here we go. And I could scroll all the way to the right if I wanted to, but I'm not going to see any action here. All the actions that you may want to use, you can find right here in this Ask Oracle bar here. So it knows intelligently that I want to create an opportunity. So I'll just click on that. Okay. Some things that I need to fill out or that are already filled out for me, but I need to give it an opportunity name. Let's just call it something simpler. End-to-end transaction or opportunity. Click create. This will create my opportunity. Again, I need to create a quote. This bar here is intelligent enough to know that's what I want to do. So we create that transaction. And this is going to show us CPQ. So I'll need to add products. I can do the old school way, or actually I could do the old school way of just clicking browse products here. It'll take me to the home page. And this is actually the way we're going to do. So let's keep going this way. So we'll just add power generation package. And we'll add this to the transaction. We don't really need to make any changes. It'll give us a bound model already. I could also have done the new school way of clicking add products and finding the product I wanted here, but I chose to do the latter. So let's cancel this out. So I don't need to really do anything much here. Again, the configurator is already set up, the BOM already set up. We have our parts, we have a price, we are ready to go. So let's save this. We'll also need to get some of our account details that aren't here. We'll need to submit this for approval because someone needs to approve it. Luckily, nobody needed to approve it, so it's approved. And then now I can create my order. So I'm going to click this action here. But before I click this action, I want to, so you can see, I want to come over to Oracle Integration Cloud, which is what I'm looking at here. It's a middleware. And I want to find the integration that I'm actually going to click because you'll be able to see it go through or see what it looks like when it goes through. So I want to click on the hamburger in the top left. I'm going to come to, there's a few different places I could go. I go to observability if I wanted to. In this case, I'm going to go to projects. And I'm going to find the project that I know that I'm working on, which is this one. And projects are really just, well, we'll see. They're packages of things used for integration. That's the way I like to put it. There are connections. So these are the endpoints with the credentials that you'll need. So in this case, this is the Oracle CPQ REST connection, the username and password for that, SOAP, the Fusion, etc. There's lookups, which are just kind of tables to match values to each other. So lowercase a should be interpreted as uppercase A, something like that. There's libraries if we want to use JavaScript and things like that. But there's also these integrations here. And this is where everything comes together. These are the flows, for lack of a better phrase, that facilitate the integration. So I want to come to this Observe tab, and I can see, again, all the integrations I have here. It's only showing me things that happened in the last hour, that are status, things like that. And everything's 0 because we haven't triggered any integrations. So let's go back to our transaction. Let's actually trigger one. Okay, we'll see this bar loading, which lets me know it's working or thinking anyway. I'm going to come back to Oracle Integration Cloud just because. I'm going to click refresh, and we'll see that it's received one integration, which is what we just did. So this is good. So we'll wait on this for a little bit. It's done. That loading bar is finished. I can come to orders. If you have this stuff exposed, I can see I have my order ID, my order number. We'll need that for later. And let's come over here and click refresh. I want to come back to this and show you what happened because I want to go over to Fusion so you can see the order orchestration happening real time. So let's try to race over there before it's done. So I'm back in Fusion, but I'm as an admin now. I'm going to come to this hamburger. I'm going to go to order management. Again, order management. I'm going to come to tasks, manage orders, order number. I know my order number is 90, so I'll search for that. Wonderful. Here's my order number. It's processing, so we may get it in time. We'll click on the order number 90 here. And to see the orchestration process, we have to do a few more steps. So we come to actions. We want to switch to the fulfillment view. We want to come to fulfillment lines here. And then we want to click on this orchestration process number. This is the orchestration that's happening. These are the steps that this line needs to do to essentially ship it. And here, this is where we're seeing the orchestration process. So we ordered a thing. It needs to be fulfilled, which fulfillment basically means delivering the service or whatever you promise to the customer so they can use it, begin to use it, things like that. So it's scheduled, it's in reserved, it's shipped, and it's waiting for some other things to let's see. If it's going to need other lines, like things that needs to support it, it's going to create something in asset management if it needs to. It's going to create a subscription and maybe an invoice. Let's refresh this. We see it's made a few more steps and it's got all the way to subscription. So this is good. So you can see where what's happening here. And it's on the calendar. As you can see, everything's happening today. It also has a legend down here so you can see what is the status of something. So if it's completed or in jeopardy, things like that. Okay. Let's come back to the middleware here. And let's refresh because everything happened, which is wonderful. We see that this is the one we're looking for. This sales order status is great. We won't look at this today. This is kind of ancillary. The real engine behind this is to create sales order. So let's just click on received so we can see everything. And again, if there are more integrations here, we would see them. And what you want to click on next is this ID. This is the primary identifier of the integration. This is the instance of the integration that happened. So let's click on that. It'll take us to a view. I want to change it because for my preferences, I like it in this kind of horizontal view. I'm going to zoom out here. Make this a bit bigger. Oops. Oh, so I just collapsed everything. We will recollapse. We'll open up everything later. So in short, what this is saying that this is trigger receives the payload from CPQ. It does a logger, it just logs things. And then it has this scope, which does a lot of things. So we will expand this slowly. So the first level is just this fault handling or this main scope. We'll expand this more. And what is happening is it's assigning attributes to values. It's mapping. Let's look at this. So we'll click on these three dots here. We'll go to view. And this is what is connecting something in CPQ to a payload that's going to go to uh, Fusion order management. So I'm going to clean this up a bit so it's easier for us to see. So I'm clicking on this filter here, and for both sides, the source, CPQ, which is on the left, the target, Fusion, which is on the right, I want to see all my fields that are mapped. They have connecting dots. You can see this dotted line in the background. I want to see things that are mapped, that have that dotted line, and I want to see that on both sides. So we'll apply. Okay. So I'm going to start just expanding this here. What this is just saying, uh, this quote object, the transaction type, the data XML, the transaction. So this is the transaction here, the header, and it's mapping these two main document things, and also the subdocument, the transaction line items here, which is going to map to all of these things here. This is a lot to see, a lot to consume on this screen. Let me hide my face. There's a lot to consume here, but this is where really a lot of hard work is done in these mapping files. So it's not only the orchestration of getting the package from the target, logging things, whatever. At some point, you'll need to map things because you need to do this before you really send the payload. This needs to be translated. So that's what's happening here. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so let's exit this. And after that mapping is done, it's going to invoke a REST endpoint. And you'll see that it's the Fusion Order Management FOM REST connection. So we create a JSON object, and we're going to now invoke the REST API to send that package to Fusion Order Management, so we can create that order. It's going to assign some more values, and then it's going to do this for loop here. And this is really going over each line in the response here. Okay, so it's not really doing too much, but it's getting some order statuses here. Okay, and then it's going to map back to CPQ, and it's going to send a response. So we can look at this mapping as well. Mhm. So this is what we're looking at here. Create service order response. Let's clean it up again. Okay. And we're saying we get the order number, source transaction ID, status code, etc. And it's being mapped to the corresponding attribute in CPQ. Wonderful. There's also another view that you can see here. I want to open it this way. There's another way to open it. I'm not really quite seeing it here, but we can look at this activity stream. And this is going to show you in more detail what's happening, but in a cascading top to bottom flow. If you get any errors, it's a good idea to look at or find those in the activity stream, in my opinion here. You can see a bit more detail, but you will also be able to see where the error is here. Let's actually go back and see if I can't find an integration that um, uh, that did error out. Last 32 days. Yeah, so create sales order. And let's go to 3. So this one tells us it didn't even start, frankly. It errored right off the beginning. So that's not good. So you will see something like that. But you will see some that say succeeded. Let's go to process. And I'm going to click a random one and hopefully I find one that shows what I mean. Yes, I did. So you'll see in this whole flow that everything is good. It got the trigger as we wanted. It went through the scope. It's going, did the mapping, sign verb did the mapping, but it failed here. And I can drill in to see why. I can again view the mapping itself. I can view the connection, which is essentially the endpoint information. I can view the error itself, but it's no longer available. That's fine, but you would see it here. Or you could see it in the activity stream. And again, this is no longer available either. It's old, but you could see that information here. So it's good to know that in case you're having issues with your integration, you're creating sales order integration or any other ones, because you want to come here and see exactly what's going on. This is the best place to see it. Okay, so we have more work to do now. We have to now make sure our subscription is created. So I am going to return the sales. Oh, someone has modified this quote. That's fine. Let's just return back home. And let's go to subscription management. Now, I'm not seeing my subscription here. And there's something that I will need to do manually to make sure my subscription is created. Otherwise, in the real world, a user wouldn't have to do this, but in my case, I do. And actually, I'm in the wrong place. So back in Fusion, let's actually refresh this one more time. Okay, so it's done. Um, subscription management, subscription management. Okay, I need to come to these gear icons here. And I need to run reprocess order management transactions. And here is the subscription or the order that I created that I want to create a subscription for. Now, again, in real life, there's scheduled jobs that will handle this. So typically a user wouldn't need to do this, maybe under extreme circumstances where something needs to happen right now, but otherwise a scheduled job will handle it. For us, we're going to do it now. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to submit, and it's going to do some thinking. Let's see if we can't refresh this page. Let's just click cancel and come back in. Okay, so everything worked fine. We got our subscription number. We can go look at our subscription for this product now, or this transaction. Here we are. And here's our subscription header. All the information at the header that we'll need, and the line for the product that's going to be the subscription, which is this. So I can click on this. It's going to open a window that's for this product specifically. Again, we'll get a summary of everything here. We will see our pricing. So this just has a one-time sales price, which is fine, nothing recurring. And we can see our billing summary, which should only be one line. Yeah, just this one-time sales price. If this was reoccurring, we would see multiple lines here with the interface date, bill from date, etc. And what's important here is a lot of things, but the bill from and bill to date, those show the window that this subscription is really for. So if you have a monthly subscription that starts at the first of the month to the end of the month, your bill from date will be first of the month, February 1st. Bill to date will be the end of the month, February 28th. Your interface date is going to be the date this thing interfaces to invoice accounts receivable to send the invoice. So you can configure where this interface date falls. If you want it to be before the bill from date, somewhere in between the bill from and bill to date, on a date specifically, sometime after the build to date, you can configure all of that. All right. Let's go back to order management really quick and see the order that we were on. Oops. Okay. So I don't know if you see the change, but we're now just awaiting billing. Subscription is interfaced. That's done. Now we're awaiting billing. So we didn't go that far in our training, so we're not going to go that far now. Okay, so that's the end-to-end process. So what do? We found an account, we created an opportunity, then we created a quote, and we had some products to that quote. Those products were, of course, already created. We didn't need to configure them, and we didn't need to set up pricing. All that was done before us. After that, we submitted for approvals, we created an order, then we came over to Fusion and order management, and we found our order. And we went to the fulfillment lines to see what was happening. And while it was working, thinking, we also went back and looked at the middleware to see what is happening in between CPQ and order management. And then at the end of it, we essentially created our subscription from our order. So now we can invoice the customer, and that's where we stop. So there's a lot of effort that goes into setting that stuff up. Some of it is more easier than others, but we make it as easy as possible, and we're making it easier every day with every release. So hope you found this helpful. Please look out for the following videos where we actually get our hands dirty and implement this together so you can implement it in your real life. So thank you very much. My name is Adrian. I'll see you in the next one.